Donald Trump is ramping up public pressure to bring NAFTA talks to a fast end.
Sit down. Canada has taken advantage of our country for a long time. We love Canada. We love it. Love the people of Canada. But they are in a position that's not a good position for Canada.
The president wants Canada to accept a renegotiated NAFTA on his terms by the end of the month. And he got more backing today from a powerful U.S. lawmaker. Steve Scalise, the influential Republican House Whip, warned that if Canada isn't willing to get on board, it may get left behind. In an open letter, he wrote, "There is growing frustration regarding Canada's negotiating tactics and that Canada does not seem to be ready or willing to make the concessions that are necessary, emphasizing that the clock is ticking. There is not an unlimited amount of time for it to be a part of this new agreement." What U.S. lawmakers like Scalise think matters, since they'll ultimately decide the fate of NAFTA. As for those negotiating tactics, the Trudeau Liberals have spent more than a year trying to charm members of Congress in the hopes threats like these never happen.
Canada has been extremely cooperative. Canada is very good at negotiating trade deals. Canada is very good at finding creative compromises.
When negotiators sit down again in Washington tomorrow, the big sticking points will be front and center. Canada is not backing down in its demand that disputes get settled independently, while the U.S. is pushing for Canada to make more concessions in its dairy industry.
Don't compromise, because we have to protect the farmers, we have to protect the auto workers, we have to protect everyone in Ontario.
Everybody's smiling.
Ontario's farmers welcomed the Premier's support at the province's annual ploughing match. He'll bring that message to Washington, where he'll meet with Canadian negotiators for an update and offer what help he can to Team Canada.
And Katie is back in Washington tonight. All right, Katie, you were on that same plane with Chrystia Freeland and some of the other key players in all this. Give us a sense of their mood or the expectation for how things might play out this week.
Freeland really captures the feeling in the T-shirt that she actually wore on the plane down here. We have a photo. It's kind of hard to see, but it says, and I quote, "Keep calm and negotiate #NAFTA." She told me that her kids gave her the T-shirt, and really, given all of the conversations that people in our office in Ottawa, including myself, have had with sources over the past few days, this really seems to be the attitude of the Canadians. The most influential members of the Prime Minister's office, the top members of the Canada-US team, are here to try to get closer to a deal. Sources say they're trying to just keep their heads down, ignore that outside bluster, and focus on what's at the negotiating table. Rosie.
All right, that might be harder than we think. Katie, thanks for that. I know you'll be on top of this through the week. Justin Trudeau was pressed on NAFTA in an interview with Maclean's last night. He chose his words carefully and hesitated to say just how close we are or have been from a deal. Here is the Prime Minister for the record.
Every time we work together, we do knock off a few more things and move closer to an eventual decision point. We're not there yet. There were points in the spring where we thought we were perhaps days or weeks away. It turned out not to be the case. We might be days or weeks away now. We're just very much focused on trying to do the work and get to the right outcome, which in itself may sound like a simple thing, but in these current times is not.
Speaking with our friend Paul Wells of Maclean's, and as Trudeau has said repeatedly, Canada is fully prepared to walk away from NAFTA if a deal can't be reached.